My name is Lee Mills, and I'm the music director of the Greenville Symphony Orchestra. I think it's really important that in classical music and in orchestras, we're always thinking about how to innovate around the way we're presenting music, where we're presenting music, what types of people, we're including in our experience. Because I think music really has this ability to bring people together in a way that very few other things do. It's rare to be able to bring 2,000 people into a concert hall and have them all experience a very similar emotional journey together. And everybody's hair is standing on end at the same time, they're breathless at the same time. And I think that's a major part of what we do as musicians. And classical music being such a long history, sort of art form, with many, many traditions, sometimes can have a tendency to get a little bit stuck in the mud. But it's really important that for us to remain relevant to the communities we're serving, we're constantly innovating and experimenting with new ideas. I think there's a bit of a challenge between working with such traditional material and trying to innovate at the same time, specifically because there are so many traditions that have built up around the repertoire that we perform, around the music that we play. Traditions of how to behave in the theater, what you should wear, how you should talk, what kinds of people quote unquote deserve to be at the concert. And I really think that it's important that we start to analyze all of these and see, is it really serving our art form, and which of these traditions do we need to sort of chop away so that we can reach more people and be a more accessible utility for our entire community. Some of the ways that I'm approaching changing up our traditions to make our art form more accessible, for example, I encourage our audience to clap whenever they want. There's sort of a stigma in classical music that you're only allowed to clap at the very end of the piece. Even if the piece has 4 movements or sections, the tradition is to stay silent in between every section. But I really think the audiences should respond the way that they're moved to respond. So if they come and something was so exciting they want to applaud, I believe that they should be applauding. And so I've been working a lot on trying to create that sort of sense of freedom for the audience to not have this burden of expectation on them about how they should behave while they're in the concert hall. Of course, you want to be respectful of the people around you and give them an opportunity as well to listen to the music, but some of the rules that we have in place, and I say that begrudgingly because they're not my rules, are a little bit now dated, and they don't really serve our purpose of creating accessibility. Other things that I've been thinking about are what sort of spaces we're performing in. Obviously, the concert hall is a wonderful place, and there's no better place to listen to acoustic music than a concert hall like the Peace Center. But there are so many other venues where we could go out and find audience members who would love to listen to classical music, but may not, for whatever reason, be making it into the concert hall. Those include outdoor venues, alternative venues like arenas or stadiums, and anything else that's like a little bit different than a concert hall that might accommodate a symphony orchestra, but maybe not bring with it this sort of limited access that some people feel that a concert hall creates. It's also important that we continue innovating around what constitutes, proper symphonic music. Today, you're seeing more and more this popularity growing around cinema music, which has been, now it's been around for 100 years, and we're starting to see that this music is a totally legitimate art form in its own right, and it is, classical music and deserves to be on the concert hall stage. Whether that's playing just the music from the movies or playing the music along with the movies projected simultaneously above the musicians. I really love how orchestras today are innovating around bringing different elements of performance together, whether it's multimedia performance or lighting and the music, and just creating an entirely different experience that's a little bit far away from the traditional symphonic classical music experience you might think. And that can be in a number of forms. I love the idea of creating original multimedia projections to accompany music that maybe harkens to a certain emotion or style, and working with different visual artists to help create those experiences. Or even adding some narration to a piece, like we recently did with the Greenville Symphony, by adding a story to the Peer Gynt Suite, which is a very well-known orchestral suite of music, and we just wanted to make it something that resonated a little bit more with the locals here in Greenville. So we wrote an original script to accompany about two young children from Greenville, South Carolina, who went out and had an adventure in the mountains. So I just love ways of maybe grabbing other people's attention, people that maybe hadn't thought about going to a symphony orchestra concert before, but maybe finding something else they're interested in and seeing if we can use that tie-in and interest so that they have something to relate to and something I can connect with that will then introduce them to our art. Up next at the Greenville Symphony, we have a concert that's actually a great example of innovation in action in the orchestra world. We're doing a performance that includes Duke Ellington's The River Suite, which everybody knows Duke Ellington as a jazz composer, but he actually dabbled quite a lot in orchestral composition. So this sort of crossover between jazz and orchestra. And I decided to pair with it a more contemporary version of the same idea, which is Mason Bates, who is a DJ and composer. And he's pairing sort of electronic music with the orchestra and DJ techniques and things like that with the orchestra. And so that piece is called Liquid Interface, and it's built using a lot of recorded audio of water in various formats, from glaciers to dripping water to running water. And the orchestra interacts around that sound. So I think that that's a really great example of how we're innovating in the classical music space right now and sort of meshing different art forms together. That concert will be on March 1st and 2nd, and I hope to see you all there.